What is something normal that scares the shit out of you? Teeth, or more specifically, a medical problem with teeth. For me or anyone else. Just creep me out. Watching everyone you love get old. The planets. Seeing real photos and videos of them from space just creeps me TF out. Because they are so gigantic. Big things scare me sometimes, depending on what they are OFC. And the planets are the biggest things around lol. I would piss myself seeing them in person. Putting my hand into the garbage disposal to clear it. No one else allowed in the kitchen, because I know they'll somehow turn it on. My wife broke a glass in the sink once, and it went in the garbage disposal. Clearing broken glass I couldn't see was the stupidest thing I've ever done. Lol, I'm fine with that, as long as nobody is anywhere near the switch. But my fiancé is terrified of it too, so he'll ask me to do it every time. I had to hire a handyman to install our dishwasher a few months ago. This older guy comes, reminded me a ton of my dad. So he hooks up the hoses and tells me he needs to pop a little plastic cap out of our disposal to hook the debris line to it. But he can't stick his hand in to get the cap out because he's terrified of sticking his hand in. So I tell him I'm cool with it. So he pops it from the outside and tells me to go for it while he feels around the hole to make sure it came out. Our hands brushed and he screamed so loud and high that even I jumped a good foot up in the air. We both just started dying of laughter and had to take a break for a while for his heartbeats to drop back to normal. If I wasn't working on a waste disposal right now, then this would be hilarious. Mirrors in a dark room. Like if you turn the light off in the bathroom before leaving or something. Feel like that's where the veil is thinnest there for some reason. Fun fact. If you were to ever see something in the mirror, it's because your brain is trying to fill in what's there based on a low stimulus, I think. It's called pareidolia and is why we see faces in objects and flowers or animals in clouds. Confrontation. From knocking on a door to eye contact. Interviews. Them. Tell us about yourself. Me. I still don't know how I got the job. This question annoys the shit out of me. Like, you already know everything about me short of my Pornhub password. That's what the CV is for. Aging. The thought of getting to a point where I won't be able to take care of myself anymore scares the living daylights out of me. I'm much less scared of dying than I'm of outliving my ability to do anything. People think I'm crazy when I tell them I don't want to live past 75. When cockroaches starts to fly. The problem is not when they appear, it's when they disappear. Unexpected knocking on my door. I have nothing to hide. All my bills are paid, but for some reason I get a mild panic attack when someone knocks. It actually evokes immediate anger in me. I have to calm my face before I open the door. Feels like such an intrusion on my day. Knock knock. Who has the fucking balls? Who dares knock at this hour? 1 PM. The sound of someone riding a skateboard on the sidewalk behind me. I don't know why, but I freeze. I would like to have trucks. When I'm walking on a sidewalk and hear a truck coming up behind me, I die a little on the inside. TBH, I think we'd all be scared if we heard a truck directly behind us on a sidewalk, since they shouldn't be there. I'm doing it right now. Learning to drive, especially because I'm taking lessons. And after my lesson tomorrow, I'm gonna be on the highway, and my lessons have a tendency to be really close together. Once you've been driving for a few years, it becomes a mundane, second nature kinda thing. Then friends and family start dying in car accidents, and you start to realize how dangerous it really is. I'd say that the big thing is to just not get too nonchalant. Always be aware of your surroundings and focus on the road, no matter how comfortable you are with driving. That's a scary idea to me, that many people can almost zone out while being responsible for a ton of moving metal. Grasshoppers. They just are too unpredictable, and it terrifies me. Frogs kind of too for the same reason, but not as bad. I feel this way about butterflies. They are pretty and harmless, but something about the way they fly makes me yeet myself away when they are near me. Closing my eyes when shampooing. I've seen too many horror movies to enjoy darkness. Phone calls, especially if it's not a number from my contact list. If it's important, they can leave a message. This is gonna sound weird, but seeing things in the middle of the road at night I was once driving home one night and turn a corner to see a dog in the middle of the road. Nothing weird, right? Completely normal sight in a suburb. Every instinct in my body was telling me to get the fuck out of there now. When I see stuff in the middle of the road at night, it doesn't matter what it is, I get chills, goosebumps. My hairs stand on end and my palms sweat. It's happened with deer, dogs, people, raccoons, and even a trash can once. Can't explain it, but it terrifies me. Oh my god, I get this too. I think it has something to do with the fact that it's not supposed to be there, and when we see things we aren't supposed to, our brains respond. Kinda weird, but when audio starts skipping when in playing my music, it scares me shitless. Totally agree. Instant anxiety kicks it for sure. Big something's wrong energy. Feeling warm. I had a vacation to China when I was a child. And ever since I woke up in the hospital there, I've been very, and I mean very sensitive to heat. It could be 20°F outside, and I'd feel warm. The worst part is, usually when I get too hot, I have a wicked seizure and wake up on the floor with scraped knees or a bruise on my forehead. I dunno. Feeling warm terrifies me now, because I just know I'm more likely to pass out. 20 degrees. God, I hope you're talking Celsius or you've been living a miserable life. Nah, Kelvin. That Lego dragon statue in the water outside the Lego store in Orlando, Florida. I recently found out that other people find it scary after discovering the submersionophobia subreddit. I have the same opposite feeling about submersionophobia. I find it more fascinating than scary. The future. And people asking me how I feel about something, because usually I have no clue how I feel about something, so I end up lying and just agreeing with them. It makes me feel so fake because everything I like and dislike generally based off of other people's opinion, because I seriously just have zero clue how I actually feel about things. The only things I'm certain that I do and don't like are things like food and music. Everything else, even things like my hobbies, I generally can't figure out if I actually like doing it, or if it's because I grew up around people whose hobbies were the same as my hobbies. I only just realized this too. My god, I'm exactly the same, you've described it so well. The ocean. I'm talking like out in the ocean. Hundreds of miles from land. Treading water. Alone. Also, spiders. You would hate my sleep paralysis spiders. Relationships. Let's each stand up and introduce ourselves and say one interesting thing about ourselves. I'm Bob and I try to kill one random person every week. Is today Tuesday? I volunteer as tribute. Space. Just looking up and coming to terms with how big it is and how little we know about it. Don't think of it as looking up. Think of it as looking down into an infinite void. A true bottomless pit. That helps. Freaking walking in the dark. You expect me to just walk comfortably when I hear a small noise in the bushes and I can barely see. I tell myself not to be ashamed of being scared of the dark, because it's a survival instinct, meaning we can't fucking see, which means it's not safe for us, which means I'm not a baby for being afraid of it, lol. Nice try, Pennywise. I have an irrational fear that someone will break in and steal my parrot whenever I leave my house. That means you love your parrot a lot, which is good. Public speaking. My friends didn't really understand what a fear of public speaking meant till I showed them on my Fitbit how my heart was racing to about 150 BPM because I had to give a speech for an election that I was running unopposed in. Like, this shit is real. Did you win? It was an emotional defeat, but I ended up with the position. Can you run for president, please? No, I would be just as bad in a whole new way. You're hired. Don't know if this counts as normal, but mental illnesses. The fact that your own brain can turn on you and create a reality different from the rest of us scares the shit out of me. Eyes contact. I don't know why, but when someone looks directly in my eyes, I will feel very uncomfortable and nervous. My hands will begin to sweat a lot, and my throat will feel like burning. My friends say that maybe it is because I'm lying or have done something wrong, but it's not. When I talk to other people such as my teacher, friends, relatives, parents etc., I often look at another spot in their face like ears, noses, mouth, or else certainly not eyes. The same goes with when I practice public speaking or being awarded on the stage. I usually look at the ceiling or the clock or an empty space between audiences rather than their eyes. I think it may be because I'm scared of being judged or being noticed too much, and I'm trying to fix it so hard. A tip I've heard to avoid becoming anxious/self-conscious in our own head is just to pay attention to what the other people are doing even more. Usually we just overdo it in our own minds to an irrational level.